Hey guys, welcome back to We Met at Acme. I'm so excited to be here with Amanda Hirsch from Not Skinny But Not Bad.
I'm
Hi.
so excited too.
This is so cool for me because I literally your stories are like the morning paper, which I'm sure you hear from everyone. Just I don't even drink coffee, but if I did, like coffee in your stories and I'm up to date.
Oh, that's so nice.
And I'm so excited because I feel like you rarely talk about your story.
That is true. I've been thinking about, because I always make fun of myself for not being mysterious. And I'm like,
No, but you are low key.
But I am a little bit.
You kind of
I'm
are.
low key mysterious.
Low-key
like
mystery.
I trick people into think I'm not.
Right. Like it's like so many stores are up, but like not that many are revealing about your life.
Yeah. Which also like, am I super humble and selfless because I don't talk about myself that much?
I would say so, honestly.
I would say so.
Say so. Before we get into anything, what is your favorite romantic gesture? It's kind of how we start off the pod. So like something that someone like husb can do for you.
And he does. What he always does, I mean, it's so gross to be like, food is my love language, but like, I'm not sure that it is, but what he always does is have me taste first. Even if he's like, I made the craziest, like he's like, look at this sandwich. Like I made it. It's crazy. It's like dripping with sauces and all the shit that I like. And even though he's dying, he'll always have me taste it first.
That's really sweet.
So it's very sweet.
That's really
It's very important to him that even if let's say I'm like on a diet, I'm really trying, you know?
Right.
I'll be like, no. He'll literally be like, no, please. Like and you see how much he wants me to like taste it.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
And so sweet. And honestly, I'm like feeling bad about my situation with my husband because I kind of like do the opposite where if we ordered bacon, egg, and cheeses for breakfast, I have to look at them both and decide which one like looks better.
Yeah.
And then I take the one that looks better. And he's like on board with it.
Oh, he is?
Which is
nice of him.
So nice.
He's funny. He's cute, your husband.
He's adorable. I mean, nice Jewish boy, you know? Like
I just met him and he actually made me laugh and I even repeated what he said.
Oh, what did he say?
Well, it's like not that deep, but I was telling the story because you had popcorn when we met the last time, for the first time.
Right.
And you were like, do you want a popcorn? I was telling the story about how like when somebody offers you something, a lot of people's default is to say no.
Right.
My default is to say yes, like
Me
even
too.
if I don't want it.
Me too.
So I was like, okay, I'll take popcorn.
Right.
Did I want popcorn in the moment? Not sure.
Yeah.
But I took. Then I started choking on the kernel.
Right.
And then I was like, why did I take this one popcorn? And then your husband was funny because I said that and he was like, no, you just have to keep going. Like he said it in this like really like dry humor, funny type of way.
Yeah. It's the only way to get it down is to eat more.
Yeah, he was like, just eat more.
Yeah,
like you'll be fine. And meanwhile, I started off this event like not having a seat and choking on popcorn.
Right. No, that was a fun night though. Even though both of us left before any of the guests came on. Did you hear about all the guests that came out?
I know, but it's kind of, for you, it's not, but that's if you watch the stories, you know, like that's my MO. Is
no, I know it's your MO. And like now, I think once you have a baby, it like becomes your MO regardless.
Have to relieve the sitter, wink, wink.
Right.
But really.
No, but like.
Also wink, wink.
Was husband the sitter?
He was.
Yeah. So
I didn't. I just wanted to go to sleep early.
Right. But relieving the sitter is the best excuse.
If you
it's
want
like a reason to have
for
kids.
life, have kids.
Yeah.
I literally was waiting for that. Like before having kids and even deciding I'm ready, I always knew like I'll be using that.
Oh, totally.
And it's such an amazing
I knew, like I was on to friends who started using it and I could always tell when it had nothing to do with what was really happening. But I was like, I can't argue with them.
Yeah.
Like I'm a psycho if I argue with that.
Right.
You know?
No, but I actually look at it sometimes flip because sometimes I wasn't understanding.
Right.
And today I want to go back and apologize. You know, when people were like, well, I can't just like, and I'm like, whenever, let him nap whenever, wherever. What does it matter?
Yeah.
And now you're like on a schedule and you won't, and you're like, I'm sorry for doing that. Like I wasn't understanding why you couldn't just do it at that hour or just leave him with a random person or just put him to sleep whenever.
Right.
Yeah, I was not understanding.
No, the leave him with the random person. Like I was like, anyone can watch your kid. Like what's the big deal? I think like a written apology after you have your own is like due to everyone. Especially like if you had a wedding close to someone's due date, like apologize to them, you know, all of that. Okay. I'm so curious about this. I know you talked about it like very not in depth, but how did you meet husb?
I grew up here. I always say that I can really explain like how my life is split up. whereas Hilaria Baldwin was having issues doing that. I was like, it's so easy because I was born here. I lived here until I was 7. When I was 7, I moved to Israel, lived there from 7 to 14, came back here for high school. So like right when freshman year started, did high school here, college here, finished college, was like, okay, before I start my career, I'm going to go to Israel again and like party, have fun, go to the beach because I had family and friends there. So I literally met husb the first or second day. Like in retrospect, we figured it out.
What, like in Tel Aviv?
And it wasn't in Tel Aviv. It was in Haifa at the time because that's where
Yeah.
my family was. And I like went to the mall and he was working at like Adidas at the time or something. And I remember I went in there with like a friend and it's such a small town. Like picture whoever's listening, like a small town in the South or like just somewhere where everybody knows
Right.
everybody. So I heard in retrospect that he was like, who is that that's like new at the Adidas at the mall, you know? And the people who knew were like, oh, it's Amanda. She moved back. She moved, whatever. And then he was a promoter at night. So I went to the club and he would like always bring me like free shots and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like free shots, you know? Like what wouldn't you do for like the free drinks at the
Right,
club?
of course.
And to get in. So he would not only like get me in right away, and then everyone was like, he likes you. And he was so shy. I was like, literally hasn't spoken to me. Just like gets me in and gives me free drinks.
Right.
And they're like, that means he loves you, you know?
Uh-huh.
So then slowly but surely he kind of like opened up, and that's really how we met. Like through at the clubs.
Is he your same age?
No, he's 2 years older.
And does husb have an Israeli accent?
Very.
I've never heard him speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should have him do one of those get ready with you voiceovers while like you're getting ready.
He's so
and he's
shy.
speaking. Yeah.
And he's so like he's shy in Hebrew too.
Right.
So then put it to language that it's not his first language.
Right.
He's even more shy. And that's why it's so funny. When we met, I brought one of my friends. He's also Israeli. And he's gay and fun, fabulous. And on the way there, I was like, do you want me to introduce you if I know people or no? And he was like, what? Like, of course, introduce me.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, okay. Because like I'm trained kind of by my husband that like he rather lay low.
Right.
So when I bring him to like events and things like that, he's kind of like, do your thing. Don't feel the need to like include me, which is kind of nice.
It is kind of nice. Wait, I know you don't ever talk about astrology. I know you're a Gemini.
Yeah, he's a Taurus.
I knew he was a Taurus.
Shut the fuck up.
I swear to God, I was going to tell you it's giving Gemini Taurus.
Sorry, I should let you guess.
It's okay, but I think that's like one of the only couples where it works where like one is an extrovert and one's an introvert.
Really?
And I can't explain it. Like there's a part of a Gemini that like needs that introversion.
I know it is kind of wild how much he's an introvert and how much he's the opposite of what I seeked my entire life. My entire life I like the like love bombing people.
Right.
The like you're a princess, you're beautiful, you're the most amazing thing, like the touch, the whatever. He's not like that.
But your entire life, you met him when you were 21?
22.
I mean, you were a child
I
bride.
didn't get enough.
Literally child bride.
Know.
Like how old were you when you got married?
27.
Okay.
So we were together for 5 years.
Bride, but yeah.
But
you were
still,
together for
unnecessary too. Like we didn't have kids for another like
right.
Like looking back, I'm like,
nice.
It is nice, but like he wanted to lock it down.
Yeah, that's hot.
He did. He wanted to. He got me a dog like 2 years before. I'm like, what are you getting me like looking back?
Right.
I'm like, I mean, now we see all this dog co-parenting. I think I don't know. It's weird to me.
It's not for me.
And it's not going to work long term. But I'm like, then there wasn't dog co-parenting and he just was locking me down.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Wait, so how did you get him to move to
So what happened was he proposed. So I ended up staying there for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I know. Looking back, because now I'll meet people and they'll be like, oh, I live here by myself. And I'm like, how do you do that? And they're like, you did that. And I was like, oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So basically he proposed and then all of this stuff was happening. And I was like, wait, I don't commit to like living here for the rest of my life. And kind of like I was saying, small town vibes. I knew that people that got married, then they bought a house, then they had kids, like, and I wasn't going to do that in Israel. So I was kind of like, wait, we didn't talk about this, but I kind of want to move back. And he was like, okay, like after we get married, we'll do that. And it kind of worked out. I think the house we were living in, they were going to like tear it down. And we were like, oh, this is all so easy and happening. And He wasn't, a lot of Israelis, as I'm sure with some other foreigners, would die for a green card and to like move here.
Yeah.
He was not that guy.
Right.
He was kind of like, okay, I'll do it. And I was like, but I want you to want to so you don't resent me.
Right.
So I don't know if we got to that point, but we got to a point where he was like, I'm down. Like, let's try it.
Right.
You know? Right. And I was like, nothing's forever. Like, we're just trying it.
Yeah, but it's not like you were telling him to move to like Ohio.
I know, but
I hate that I say Ohio. Ohio gets like
but he liked his life. Right. You know, it's not like he was like dying to get out of here.
No,
like,
of course.
Yeah, so it was a little rough though at the beginning.
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, like, but he then, of course, made his life, made friends.
Yeah, but it takes a while, and even at the beginning, I think for me, it was even harder than for him because I think I was so like, whatever, it's so easy, so blah, blah, blah. And not only for me was it a slight culture shock because I didn't live here for. You know, first of all, I didn't live in this country for 5 years, but before then I was in college in Ithaca, so I was in a small town.
Right.
So really I hadn't lived in New York since high school. So really I wasn't like on the subways, like doing all this shit. And all of a sudden we're back here. Everything's kind of on me because like I'm the one who is from here.
Right.
Then I'm like, oh. And then his happiness is also kind of on my shoulders. And I started feeling like, oh shit, what if, you know? So I got into a really like bad spiral. Like my anxiety probably then was like at an all-time high. Like
just like, did I make a mistake?
Yeah, but it for me, like anxiety like translates. So it immediately became like panic attacks. And then I was less good at like putting two and two together. I was like, this is so random that I just moved here and I'm having panic attacks. Today I would be like, oh, okay. My friend has a good saying. It's a Hebrew saying. I'm going to translate it. She's like about connecting your anxiety. She's like, what does she say? Like it's hot, so you're going to the beach. Something like that. Like basically like why are
like your anxiety has a reason.
Yeah. Like it's not just like random and out of nowhere. Whereas like a lot of my life I've had anxiety thinking it's out of nowhere. And then I think you learn if you're like in therapy or just with enough experience, you're like, oh wait. Well, duh. But I don't think I was very good at it then. I was like, so weird. Why am I randomly having panic attacks? And looking back, I'm able to be like, okay, it was all on me. We just moved here. I was overwhelmed, you know, from this like small town feel. I'm all of a sudden back in New York, going to job interviews, taking the subway, going into these huge buildings, like all this stuff. Meanwhile, his happiness is on me. I'm like, what did we do? Did we do the right thing? So it was a lot. But then today I'm like, see, we got through all that, but we're here for a long time. Like we're here now longer than I was there. It's been like 2015. We're in 2024.
And I want to talk about how Not Skinny But Not Fat originally started.
Yeah.
Like, you were just very into pop culture your whole life. Like you were very plugged in.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I want to, like, you were manifesting talking to these people that you were
Well,
into.
so not even. First of all, the manifesting started my whole life being into pop culture, celebs, having all the magazines, being obsessed, talking about it, thinking about it to the point of like, you know, my sister would always mock me and be like, she's superficial. Like she only cares about celebs. Like when I was little. To me being at a public high school in New York where everyone's like a social activist. And I was like, did you see? You know?
Yeah. And
I was so not kind of in tune with everybody else. And it wasn't cool then like it is today. It was kind of like, you're dumb if you care about this stuff. So, and also alongside that, I kind of always had the feeling like I should be doing something in this industry. Like, I don't know what, like I knew I loved it, but I didn't know like, do I want to be an actress because I love it so much? So I like went to acting classes. I submitted headshots to like every agency, even though it said like, don't submit, you know, it says like no solicitations. I was soliciting. So I knew, but I don't know. So that's what's funny to me in retrospect. Cause I'm like, delusional sending these headshots, but what was I sending them as? Like, did I want them to just think, like, take me in as an actress and I would start going on auditions? So my whole life I was like working to like make money or build my resume, but also doing like really wild things on the side, like going to acting classes, sending headshots. In Israel, I actually lied that I went to school in America for acting. So I was represented there by an agency and got some gigs. I even said Juilliard. They don't know. They're like, oh, that sounds like a big one there. So I was always doing this kind of like crazy stuff being like, okay, I'm not the sleep. This is what I always say. I was never the sleep in my car, but I was like I want to make sure that I'm like sprinkling some dust on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say like, oh, I work these really like normal jobs that I know I don't want to be in, but I'm not doing anything. No, I'm doing stuff on the side to like be like, boop, maybe this will turn into something. But anyway, so when we moved here, kind of all connects. When we moved here in 2015 with husband and everything, I was like kind of depressed, like I said. And memes were really big then. All the like fat Jewish, therapist says, like all this.
Fuck Jerry or whatever.
Fuck Jerry. Hence the dumb name, right? Because I was like, oh, I need a name because all these things have names.
By the way, not dumb at all. I think it's like the best name ever.
So I was like, and I loved writing. And I was like, I want to write like memes like that. Like they make me laugh. They make everybody feel good. So that's how I started. By the way, terrible memes. I get them in my memories. I
remember these memes.
Like just terrible. Being like, I gained 40 pounds on the weekend. Like just stupid things. But people related.
Things that had to do with not skinny.
Yeah, so it was a little bit literal. Like I look back and I'm like, was I having some eating issues at the time that I was sharing so much
but it's also just like what a lot of women describe
everybody
themselves as.
I mean,
like everyone's
all like,
I'm not skinny, but I'm not fat.
Yeah, people feel it. People relate to it.
Totally.
So that's how it started. It started with memes, and then there weren't stories, so it wasn't me. It was like anon a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's what's weird. It's like I was manifesting my whole life to like be something, right? In the public eye or in the industry. But then when I started this, I was like anon. And then it kind of just like came together because at one point, I remember I used to like send my sister like all the celebrity stuff. And then one day I like posted it instead of sending it to her and saw that people really liked that. So I was like, oh, so I could not just post memes. People like this stuff too. And then I kind of brought myself into it. And so it all kind of just like led like one to another. And then my podcast actually started as like talking about pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even supposed to be interviews.
Right.
My sister's actually doing it with me.
Who was the first celebrity?
The first famous person or like, yeah, I think it was Erin Foster was my first like big one. That's why I'm so excited. She's having a show come out.
And you just recorded again with her and Sarah, right?
Right. Yeah. And I brought it up. I was like, I won't, like she came to my house. Like we weren't even in studio. Like she came to my 1-bedroom apartment at the time. She like liked me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love her. I love them both.
She's amazing. Mm-hmm. And the show, You're Gonna Die.
I'm so excited.
It's the best show ever. And I'm so happy for her. And I hold such a special place for her in my heart. Cause like, I remember how big I thought she was and how I couldn't believe that she would come on my pod. And she came to my apartment.
Right. That's how
I put out snacks. Like, so funny. Like, it's a podcast. I put out snacks and like seltzer. And I was like, oh my God, and so excited. And today she's on the pod, and obviously like I'm in a different place. She's doing amazing things. And I just like remember all those things. And I obviously like cherish her for even coming then and coming to my apartment and like giving me the chance. And she was like my first, which I'm so happy it's her because I like love her till this day.
Yeah, she's the best. Well, actually, speaking of Erin, it's funny you brought her up.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about this. So your birth story, I was just listening to.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't say it's similar to mine, but it's similar to mine in that we were in a hospital and you got an epidural.
Yeah, and she did,
And she did the home birth. And in your episode, I don't think it was in any way shade to Erin. I think you were more talking about like.
No, I told her that to her face.
Yeah. I think you were more talking about like the Hillary Duffs of the world. Like, the ones who like do the home births with like the stunning photography.
Yeah.
Which like
I said the only reason to do a home birth is they want the black and white photos.
They want the photos.
It's not as chic in the hospital,
Totally, it's not. So what was your conversation like with Erin? Because you guys were like due at the same time. Were you like, I can't believe you're doing a home birth. You're fucking
but
insane.
You know what? She explained it so well and where I couldn't.
Right. I mean, her caption explaining it like gave me the chills.
She literally, but it like in a simpler, in a quick way, I'll say like, she said she's open about her infertility issues. And like, it took her 6 years to get here. She was in thousands of procedures, as so many women are, with the retrievals and the whatever they have to go through, which is like insane. So she's like, I wanted this to not be like that, you know?
I think that's
Was
so
it everything she
beautiful.
imagined? No, she'll be the first to say like, like she did not expect it to be that crazy. But what I think about home births, because I'm just like, okay, I get that you're at home and that's nice.
Yeah.
But like, even if I'm at the hospital and like I'm connected to a machine that's like monitoring the heart, in no way does it feel like it's primal everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
everywhere.
The minute you
and
start
I'd rather
pushing,
be somewhere where, God forbid, you know, I could go into a surgery right away.
Yeah, or decide to have meds, you know? So kudos to them. And I love what Sarah tells her, because I was like, Sarah, what did you think about Erin when she told you she wanted a home birth? And she was like, Erin, you're not getting a medal for this.
Right.
So like, I think that's like the perfect antithesis of that, right? Is like, that's what we think. Like, no one's going to be like, but at the same time, I think it does give you that chip on your shoulder where you can be like, I did that.
I mean, it's the same thing as like breastfeeding. It's the same thing.
Right.
It's like, you know, like we'd be lying if we said we weren't like, it makes me feel good that I did that,
it makes me feel good. Like I look back and I think of how I raised Noah, which was I had no help at the time. I was exclusively breastfeeding. And yeah, I feel like it gave me something.
Right. Like every time he's not allergic to something, you're like, it's because of me. It's what I did. For him.
And like I know that I gave him fucking everything.
Totally.
Like 24/7, just me, every night, wake up, and that's something that you can like feel a little proud of. Totally. So I get it. I get it. I would be totally proud of myself if I could do a home birth, but I'm also realistic in that it's not for me.
Yeah, me too.
My contractions started and I was crying.
Yeah. I mean, I
was like, I can't do this.
I got induced and I had the epidural before the balloon. Like that's the level we're talking here. And I also was like, I want to do a home birth. Like initially, you thought? And then like, you know, as we went, I had like one, what's it called when you have the pain while you're pregnant? It's like a normal.
Oh, Braxton Hicks.
No, like the one before that where like your stuff is expanding. Whatever.
SPD?
No. It's like I'll look it up after. But like I had normal pregnancy pain.
Oh, and they were like,
and I was already like, they're like, what's the level out of 10? I was like, it's 9.
It's 9.
Yeah. That was just regular pregnancy pain. Okay, these are fun questions that came in for you. This one. Which pop culture moment do you wish that people cared about more?
Ooh. I feel like I do have those moments that I'm like, we should care more about this.
Totally.
Oh my God. Let me think. But then I kind of enforce it on people, you know? I'm like, you don't care.
Like, keep posting about it.
Yeah.
Can't believe
until you want to throw up. Tell me lies, I did that.
And
it's so good. Did you watch?
Yeah, and I want to talk about it, so we'll talk
about it. Okay. Right, because you listen to GP. Oh my God, I don't know.
Maybe it'll come back to you.
Yeah. You have an idea, Regina? No, I'm actually don't like talking about Britney.
Britney Spears?
Yeah.
We definitely talk about her enough, I feel like.
Yeah. No, and I kind of stopped because I'm like, it's
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
There's so many cute couples out there that we don't talk about enough, you know?
Like who?
Like Adam Brody and Leighton Meester.
Oh, they do not get the recognition. It's insane. He is fucking Seth Cohen from the OC. And she is Blair Waldorf.
Yeah, and here they are just like being a couple
Gossip
with
Girl.
kids.
And they're a couple with kids. And people don't act like that's not the biggest deal in the world. Because it is. Because they're not millennials. Like no one gets it. You know, millennials get it.
You need Gen Z to get on something to really blow up nowadays.
Right. But they do. They love Gossip Girl Gen Z. So
that's
it's confusing. What pop culture moment do you wish people cared about less?
Oh my God. So many.
I don't care about Emily in Paris. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I literally realized the other day I saw an interview with Lily Collins and I was like, oh my God, I don't hate Lily. I hate Emily. Emily. Because I hate Emily so much that I thought I hated Lily Collins. And then I saw this interview with Lily Collins and she's so lovely and so not Emily, which like kudos to her. She's a great actress, right? But I was like, I hate Emily so much. And yeah, I think it's a really bad show. I can't believe it's being renewed. It's so bad that I want to say it's so bad that it's good, but I think it's so bad that it might not even be good anymore.
Yeah. Did you watch the most recent Tell Me Lies episode?
Which one? What number was it?
4?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Tell me what it was because I watched like the screeners
spoiler
before.
alert. So we're gonna talk about things on the show. It was what's her name? Diana went through his computer, saw the pictures with the girl that he killed in the car, Macy. Yeah. So like now she gets it.
She knows.
That he is, not who she thinks he is.
Listen, I'm always gonna love season 1 more. I feel like in shows, that's where you get hooked. I don't think I've ever said like, I think it's great, but like I'm obsessed with season 1. Steven to me in season 2 is a little like he's too good sometimes. I feel like something's coming though. Like I feel like with Diana, No,
I feel like he just did the shady thing where he was like, oh, Lucy switched into my TA class. Like he's being
Steven, but with Diana, he's being like too good.
But what do you think is his motivation
to be with Diana?
No.
Oh, in life,
period. Like because no one would act that way. Like it feels like his motivation is to get Lucy.
But it feels like he
doesn't care about anyone else.
So when I rewatched season 1, because I did that before season 2, I kind of came with the takeaway that like, okay, Lucy was obviously so in love with him. He didn't seem so in love with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's the kind of thing where like when you are a toxic guy, like his character is, you just want, and you're taking advantage of a younger or like, less, developed girl, whatever. You just need them to be obsessed with you.
Yeah.
And I think he's just addicted to her being obsessed with him.
That's why
he doesn't want her to slip away.
I loved when he was like, you were thinking about me all summer. And she was like, nope, I wasn't thinking about you at all. Like, I like got chills because and I said this to Grace on the pod, like even though you were, hopefully not many of you were in Lucy's exact situation of having someone as toxic and fucked up as Steven, all of us could find ourselves in moments.
Right.
When she gave up going to India, I literally was like,
oh, that was terrible.
Like, you know what I mean? Like all those things that you did in your life to make yourself so available that there would be absolutely no excuse.
It's the Taylor Swift line, cancel my plans just in case he calls.
Yes.
So embarrassing.
Chills, cancel my plans just in case he calls.
We've all done it.
I feel like that's why people are so obsessed with the show, because I feel like you can find yourself in those moments.
But there was a scene in episode 4, I think it was episode 4, I just like batched them together, but where he goes into her dorm room. And by the way, it's so crazy. Like there's so much sex in the dorm rooms. And like that actually was a thing, I feel like, in college.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like the dorms, I think that's another reason people love the show. First of all, they nailed the dorm look. In a lot of movies, the dorm looks like a 3-bedroom house. And you're like, no, I feel like they nailed the dorms here. Like they are dormy looking. Right. They have single bed cot looking, whatever.
But he busts in.
And then what does he find?
And he like goes up to her and he like touches her jeans, and he goes, "This is so embarrassing for you."
Because he stopped.
Well, but I think he was saying this is embarrassing for you because she was like letting him.
Right, exactly.
And it is. But then like she's so nice. Like she just was like, she didn't say anything.
Oh yeah, that was such a good
And he just left. Like I'd be like, it's embarrassing for fucking you. Like you're
but it's not. It's embarrassing for her.
I know.
Because she was literally gonna let him do that.
She was like so mad.
I know.
But that's why like any emotion towards a man is like. If you hate a man, you like him. If you like a man, you like him.
If you hate a man, you like him.
The best is like indifference. She needs to get to an indifferent place with him.
But I loved that, like, I believed her. When she had first told him at the party, she was like, no, it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, she's over it. She's over it. But no, that part where he puts his hand on her pants.
No, and she's like trying to recreate their dynamic.
Which is another thing I love about the show, and a lot of shows that do this is like, so many shows are like just about the like kissing or, and this really shows like, a lot of pleasure of the woman. Like he always kind of goes for a vag. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because he like went down on Diana in this episode, and I was thinking because now we know she is with
so she loves
Pippa,
that.
So I was like, this is her thing. Like I was like, she is loving
you
this.
think they did that on purpose?
I was like, maybe this is when she realized she only wants this, Like maybe
that's good. I wonder if the showrunner would.
It's really funny. I wonder. Okay, this one came in and I'm curious too. How are you as a boss?
Regina, how am I as a boss? Like a boss bitch, or that was you? Oh my God.
That was you? You said
Why did you want to answer? Oh, you want me to answer? I think I'm so fun. Regina, am I so fun? Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I met you in person, I was like, your TikToks or like, whatever, the videos are amazing. And you were like, what? Like, you were like, I don't even know what they are. I just like do what I'm told.
Yeah. So many times. So that's really, the only thing that I'm down to do without getting. But like I don't get a lot of the trends. I don't get it. She'll explain it to me and I'm like, oh.
But it seems like you get it. So
that's good.
Yeah, maybe we can do one after this if there's time.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
But I think that I'm as a boss, like I'm maybe not the best texter all the time. Like sometimes they could sound a little curt.
I could see that.
Like
but THX.
But also she gets so much tea. How much tea do you get? So much tea.
I bet. Do you have to sign an NDA?
We kind of say NDA, which is funny. Like from the first day she started, I was always like NDA though, and she's like, okay, NDA, and that's when like she knows she can't say anything.
Yeah.
But I think I'm really a great.
How
boss.
were you as an employee?
Am I an employee?
No.
Like used
back
to be awful.
Yeah.
I was kind of the I'm here for the vibes, like chief vibes officer.
Yeah.
Like, so when I was in Israel, which is a lot of where my like working at offices happened, which is so funny that I thought it was like building my resume. Then I came here and I was like, what? I worked here in the Middle East.
Right.
I was literally like the girl that went on cigarette breaks with you, So I would like literally go on cigarette breaks with everybody during the day. Always wanted to leave early, meaning like the day ends at 5. I need to leave at 4:30.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the boss to leave so I can sneak out. And so I always kind of knew like I'm not passionate about any of this. I don't give a shit to be fired. Like I was not a good. I was fun, but not good.
Yeah. Well, that's like that aligns with what you're doing now.
Yeah. That aligns. Yeah.
Who's your dream guest?
That changed because it really did used to be Britney Spears.
Yeah.
And it felt like feasible.
Yeah. I mean, it still could be.
I think she's going to talk.
She went out with my friend.
On a date?
On a date. Like, not recently, but.
Oh. Not recently. Like when?
In her conservatorship.
I feel like, I don't want to say, guys, she may have been better then.
Oh, God.
That's controversial to say.
No, I mean.
It's true.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? By what we see.
Right.
She was going on dates. She was touring. She was, I mean, it wasn't a good situation, but I think we can all agree that what we're seeing now is a little.
It's tough.
But I would love to hear from her and have her open up.
I would see her. I could see
her. I
would
want to have like Meghan Markle on.
Oh, yeah.
I would want to have people on that like people. The funnest thing to do. The best compliment I can get is if people were like, I didn't like that person before, and now I really like them. So I'd like people that are like a little like, controversial, which is why it's annoying because like there's part of me like Sandoval wanted to come on and like be like talk about everything, and part of me is so intrigued and would want to, but part of me is like, I'm not ready for the Bravo-verse to fucking lose their shit. For me.
Yeah, that's
but I think that like people that get a lot of shit, like they're interesting. Be interesting to with him. I'm not sure there are any redeemable qualities. Okay, it could be that it's like what you see is what you get.
That shake things up, like it's for a reason.
Yeah,
people are feeling strongly about them.
Right.
And that could be an interesting.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm interested to see who is like that comes on.
Yeah.
What's the least New York thing about you?
I don't take the subway.
Yeah, that's very not New York.
It tracks. And also, by the way, backtrack, as you know, I'm an actual New Yorker.
Right.
Unlike so many people that live here now.
Totally.
And so I paid my dues with the subway. I went to high school.
But here's the thing.
Took the subway every single day of my life.
But I don't take the subway because I'm like, I want to be in New York.
No, I know.
Like
it's easier
because it's fast. And I can't pay for time, I
kind of like the time in a car.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sometimes
Sometimes I do.
Yeah. I also live not next to a subway.
Then it'd be
if
really
it was
hard.
underneath my house, I probably would have been in a crunch. Like, okay.
Right.
But since I'm like 3 avenues away and 5 blocks,
That's really hard.
then it's like I'm not going to do
that's
that.
impossible. I get it. I get that.
But what, you think there are people that take the subway to like feel like they're in New York?
Probably. Like to make TikToks.
Yeah,
you know?
to make TikToks.
How are you? Ask that already. Okay. Best thing about having a following and worst thing.
Oh, best thing is like really the community of like, sometimes people are like, why don't you go to a doctor? You know, why are you asking this? You know?
Right.
And it's like, true, you're faster and give better advice. Like, honestly.
Totally.
So I really do like that part. And like, there's so much more good than there is bad. Like, so many people who needs like, you know, you get so much. People that love you, love your family, love you, everything you're about, support you, what it feels like, support you in this like really genuine way. So that's what's like really, really great. Obviously all the great connections I made from it, the networking that's happened, the people that I've met through this that like are so cool, that I've learned so much from and have been able to speak with, like off the podcast, on the podcast. Worst thing is probably when people don't like you. It doesn't feel so good, right? Like you don't know about it in real life. Sometimes you know about it when you're a public person with like a following. And I'm a person that likes to be liked. So when you find out that you're not, it could hurt.
Yeah. I think that's very fair and normal.
But I feel like that's the only thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you listen to podcasts? I feel like you don't.
I don't really, unless I'm like getting a Manny.
Yeah. What are you listening to?
So my go-to.
Other than We Met at Acme.
What?
I said other than We Met at Acme.
First of all, I've always known about your podcast. I feel like it's one of those that really established itself, which is such a good thing to say.
Thank you.
No. For you.
No, but really, tell us.
So Smartless and Armchair Expert.
Fun.
I'm such a fucking sexist.
You don't listen to Foster Sisters?
I don't.
Tell them that they need to only do solo episodes. I only want to hear from
guests?
I only want to hear from them.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell them.
And so does everyone else.
Love, so when they were on my pod, they did say like, because obviously they could have so many celebs.
Yeah.
But they don't want to.
Right.
But they do love the like expert stuff. So I don't think you're gonna get them off that hill. They do love it.
I want them.
But I really like certain, like with the Smartless dudes, by the way, I feel the same sometimes. Like I want to hear them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like I could listen to them talk the whole time.
Like I love, even sometimes they have like a shitty guest. I like their beginning banter.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, I don't care about whoever the guest is.
Right. Like turn it off after their beginning. Because like when you're listening to someone's podcast, you're listening for them.
Yeah. That's why when people tell like interviewers that they interrupt, including me, which like you can always work on.
It's like then
I'm like, but this is my podcast too. I'm not here to like, put up this conversation.
Right. No,
You have a pod user 12349.
Right. Okay, we're gonna do some rapid fire poll questions.
Yeah.
At what point in a long distance relationship should you consider moving for your significant other? 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, or more than a year?
I don't think there is a time. I think there's a feeling. Like this is not the same thing, but I moved in with husb after like 2 months after I met him. So many couples, it's like a thing, right? It's like we're together for the year, we should move in. And sometimes they find out after 3 years that, whoa, it's not working. Right. We live together. Find out real quick if you move a country or you move in. So I think it's like as cheesy as it is, like when you know kind of a thing.
Yeah. Is it weird to double message on Hinge, like on a dating app, if they haven't replied for a few days?
I think so.
It's weird.
What, like question mark?
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
I would die. Like my anxiety, if I had to go on dating apps, oh my God.
No. Is it normal to feel starving after you have diarrhea?
Is this your question or a person's question?
This one was mine.
What? Do you want to know? Yes, it's normal.
Right? Okay. But
like, what?
But like, when you eat something and then it happens.
Yeah.
But like you just ate so much. It's not like it's gone.
Oh, okay.
Why am I starving? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that I think it may be, I think you didn't digest it.
There's like more space.
No, you didn't digest it.
Right. It went right out.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe I just admitted
Wait,
that
do
was my
you
question.
get that? Like, does food ever just run right through you?
Sometimes.
Yeah, me too. Isn't that weird? You're like, what was in that? Everyone's okay. I just had it, and then
it's a Jewish stomach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you like when people play music over regular photo posts?
No.
I agree. It needs to stop.
Unless there is like a funny reason or like a thing.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you, I think that so many people did it by accident because Instagram would force you for a while. So everyone was having espresso.
Right.
And then everyone was having, like, Instagram decides
Instagram
who they're blowing up.
Too much AI. Is it okay for a friend to not commit to morning plans just in case they're hungover from the night before? No, friend ick, or yes, valid?
Valid.
Yeah, like, what?
Also, like, there's an age where you can always commit, okay? When you're above, maybe like 35. And
I was going to say there's an age where you don't ever have to commit, and it's when you're over 35.
No, because, like, think about your mornings before you had kids or, like, a job that you needed to wake up for.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I don't know when I'll wake up.
Right.
Now I know, like, fucking live by a schedule.
Right. Like, now I will definitely be up by 6. If you went on 5 to 6 dates with a guy, what do you expect them to do when you get COVID? Nothing. Check in daily to see how you're feeling. Send a soup or treat that you like, or send flowers.
Definitely check in daily.
Yeah. Can you tell
soup
the difference?
Is cute, but
yeah. I mean, also COVID doesn't like have the same effect now than like originally did. Like, you don't need to like make sure they're
But definitely check in daily is
daily check in is nice. Can you tell the difference between Mary Kate and Ashley?
Of course.
How?
Well, style. Even though they dress the same a lot, I think there's something softer about Ashley.
I agree. Yeah, she's like more girly.
Yeah.
Do you is husb into fitness?
No. I was just telling you the other day because I started working out like once a week. So I'm feeling like Khloe Kardashian. So I told him, I was like, that like most dudes work out. Like, I don't know. I've been thinking about it because I started working out like with a trainer. I noticed like who comes.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, everyone works out. Like, you're not working out. That's just so that's like a weird thing kind of now to like not work out. So I brought it to his attention.
Okay. So
he doesn't.
see what he does now.
Yeah. He's the most unhealthy person.
So is my husband, and it's so annoying because like, and you always talk about like thighs like being like so tiny.
Ugh.
Steven's thighs are half my size, no matter what. Like I fluctuate, but even when I'm like at my skinniest,
but your legs are so skinny.
Half my size. I'll show you his legs.
Right, it's crazy,
crazy.
And he makes up things to me. He's like, I walked up a lot of flights of stairs when I was little. I was like, okay, that's not why.
What?
Yeah,
no, guys just don't have meat on their thighs.
But I made him aware that his legs are like that. He didn't know before me. Like, I blew up his head for no reason.
Guys don't think about like their body.
That's
true.
Well, no, they do though.
They do.
The gym people do.
Is it big?
The gym
but
people
not
do.
Is it small? Like. Okay, last one. Is it normal to go to bed at different times than your partner?
We don't.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's normal. We go to sleep at the same time.
Yeah, so do we. But like, last night he was at the Jets game. Like, I was asleep long before he came home.
I think that's
But
fine.
I think if we're both home sleeping.
Yeah, it's nice to like turn off the TV, like brush your teeth.
Yeah, do the routine.
Yeah.
Love it. This was so much fun. I could talk to you forever.
Fun.
Do you have a quote or piece of advice that you could share with our listeners? Just like, something
does anybody share a quote?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have a quote.
I don't have a
Not
quote.
their own quote.
Oh.
But like someone.
Oh. like a Tinks quote or something?
I love a Tinks quote.
Oh, Tinks probably has a quote.
She has so many quotes.
I know. Her quotes are good.
So good.
I don't have a quote.
Okay, what about a piece of advice? Like, tell the girls. For life. Like the single gals or like the married gals.
The single gals.
People going into... Oh, I want to ask you about what it's like having 2 now. Just tell us really quick.
Good.
Not that much harder?
I'll say people ask, is it harder 0 to 1 or 1 to 2? And I think 0 to 1. Yeah. Which you already know. Which not everybody feels that way, by the way. So many people scare you, right? They're like 2. And I think that like 1 is so much crazier. Like you went from being a person that just had to take care of yourself to all of a sudden your life being around a baby. Whereas here it's like another baby.
And you gave yourself some time to like get ready.
I did.
This,
so you know what?
really
That's
nice.
my piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do what everybody else is doing. Don't care about an age gap. Don't care about a number that you have to get married by, that you have to have kids by, that you have to have the age difference. Like I get asked so many times on like questions like, what's the best age gap? Like, no, don't go by that. Like go by what feels. I can tell you that when Noah was 2 and people would ask me, I'd be like, no, like you couldn't even bring it up to me. It wasn't relevant to my life at that time. So I waited until I could breathe. And I was like, okay, this feels like a good time. So I think that
was on board the whole time.
Yeah, he wanted even earlier because he doesn't think about things my way.
Right. I mean,
he's kind of like,
because he's
more,
to do it.
He's more like the girls asking me.
Right.
He's like, we should do the 2 year, you know? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, I love
you don't need to be pregnant.
Amazing. Where can people follow you, find you?
Not Skinny But Not Fat on Instagram. And my pod, what? I'm not saying TikTok. On my Instagram and my podcast that drops every Tuesday.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you, babe.